A very good afternoon, my dear students. Hope you are all safe at home. And today we are going to see the continuation of the cell, the fundamental unit of life. Last week we have discussed about the introduction part and the difference between plant cell and animal cell with the diagram. All of you have drawn the diagram excellently. Kudos to all of you. And today we are going to continue about the cell organelles. And what is a cell? A cell is a tiny mass of protoplasm which is surrounded by a membrane and is capable of performing all the functions of life. Already this was discussed in last class. A cell is a tiny mass of protoplasm which is a tiny particle which is surrounded by a membrane and which is capable of performing all the functions of life. This is called cell. So a typical cell is formed of three parts. Last week I have said that the cell is made up of three major parts. They are plasma membrane, nucleus and the cytoplasm. So the plant cell contain cell wall and the plasma membrane, while the animal cell contain only the plasma membrane as an outer coat. Okay children, let me move to the plasma membrane now. So what is plasma membrane? The outermost delicate elastic membrane which covers the cell that separates its content from the external environment is called as plasma membrane. What is plasma membrane? The outermost delicate elastic membrane which is elastic in nature, which allows the particles to move in and out. So it is called as elastic membrane which covers the cell. It is covering the whole cell and it is protecting from the environment. So the outer layer is called as plasma membrane. So this plasma membrane is selectively permeable. What is selectively permeable? It just allows the entry of certain substances. So only very few substances can enter inside and go outside. So it is called as selectively permeable. And it is made up of a bilipid layer and proteins. See the structure of plasma membrane. It contains a bilipid layer. The blue color balls like structure is called as lipid layer, which is present in the top layer and also in the bottom layer. So it is called as a bilipid layer. So in between the bilipid layer there is a tube like structure which is yellow in color. It is called as the integral protein. Right children, can you understand? And also carbohydrates are present in the bilipid layer in the form of oligosaccharides. Can you see the structure children? Right. See here, small carbohydrates are attached at the place to the outer surface of the lipid and protein. So as I have said, carbohydrates are in the form of oligosaccharides. Some functions are there for the plasma membrane. It gives shape to the content of the cell. So plasma membrane gives shapes to the cell. It acts as a mechanical barrier for the entry and exit of some of the substances. It also acts as a semi-permeable membrane. Only few things can enter in and out of the cell. It acts as endocytosis. That endocytosis we will see later. And also it is a recognition center of the cell, and it flow of information is present in the plasma membrane. It acts as a cell continuity modified to perform special functions like absorption in the microvilli, and osmosis is the main function of the plasma membrane, which we will see later. Can you understand children? So how does the transport mechanism happens in the plasma membrane? So transport across the plasma membrane happens through these functions. Membrane can act as a physical barrier between the organelles of the cell and in the cytoplasm and in the surrounding environment. So these four things we have to keep it in mind for understanding the transport across the membrane. They are impermeable, permeable, semi-permeable and selectively permeable. What is impermeable? Impermeable means it does not allow any of the substances inside and outside. That is called inside and outside the cell. No transport will be happening. The second one is permeable. It can allow both the solute and the solvent to pass through it. What is solute? A solute is a solid substance. What is solvent? A solvent is a liquid substance. You can gas for solute as sugar and solvent as a water. Okay, this is the best example of solute and solvent. So both solute and solvent can pass through in permeable condition. So what is semi-permeable? A membrane which is permeable allows only solvent and prevents the solute. Why it's allowing solvent and preventing the solute? A solvent is liquid, so it can easily pass through the membrane, but a solute is a solid, it cannot easily pass through the membrane. So semi-permeable means only solvent can pass through the membrane and solute cannot pass through the membrane. Can you understand the difference, children? So next one is selectively permeable. So if a membrane allows the passage of solvent and some selected solute. So solvent is a liquid, it can easily pass through the membrane, and as it is selectively permeable, it will select some of the solutes to pass into the plasma membrane. Can you understand the difference between the four things, children? This is how transport happens across the membrane. So there are two types of transport. They are active and passive transport. Now we are going to see about the active transport. What is active transport? The substance may pass across the membrane with or without the expenditure of energy. This is called transport. So while in active transport, if a substance pass through a membrane, it should consume some of the energy. So energy is consumed in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Okay, this consuming of energy with a fast movement of the particle is called as active transport. So the next one is passive transport. There is a passage of membrane, but there is no consuming of ATP energy. Okay, children. So active transport is better than passive transport. What is bulk transport? A large amount of substance and the food particles can cross across the membrane easily. This is called as bulk transport. Okay. Then the process of bringing the bulk of material from outside by the formation of endosomes is called endocytosis. So what is endo? Look at the meaning of endocytosis. Endo means bringing a particle from outside the membrane to inside the membrane. Keep it in mind, children. Endo means from outside to inside. Okay. So there is a process of bringing bulk of material from outside the plasma membrane to inside the plasma membrane is called as endocytosis. So bulk expulsion of material as in secretion and excretion is called as exocytosis. What is excretion? The sending out of material from inside the cell is called as excretion. Inside to outside is called as exocytosis. Okay, from outside to inside it is called as endocytosis. From inside to outside it is called as exocytosis. Can you understand the difference, children? Yeah. These are the three steps involved in the active transport, that is uniport, symport and antiport. Uniport is the one in which only one molecule passes in only one direction from outside to inside the plasma membrane, that is called uniport. In symport, two molecules are there which pass in only one direction, that is outside the plasma membrane to inside the plasma membrane through the membrane in only one direction, which is called symport. It contains two molecules. An antiport, it contains two molecules which is in anti-directional, that is opposite direction. One molecule enter inside and another molecule which moves outside. The best example of this is sodium potassium pump, in which sodium is present inside and the potassium is present outside. During the antiport transport, the sodium enters out, sodium move outside and the potassium moves inside. Okay, children, these are the three transport which is happening in the active transport session. So we can move to the next one. So what is happening in the passive transport? Passive transport happens by two methods. They are diffusion and osmosis. So first you have to understand what is diffusion and what is osmosis. Diffusion, the process of movement of substance, that is solid, liquid or gases, from a region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration till it spreads uniformly in the given space is called as diffusion. Listen to me, children. The process of movement of substances, that means solid, liquid and gas, three things are involved in diffusion. That the movement will be from a higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. The second point is that, and it should spread uniformly in the given space. This is called diffusion. Now listen to osmosis. The process of movement of only liquid from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration till there should not be any uniformity in the given space. This is called osmosis. There are few differences between diffusion and osmosis. Listen to me. So this is the difference between diffusion and osmosis. See the first point, it takes place in solid, liquid and gases. Whereas osmosis, it takes place only in liquid medium. Okay, it does not involve any semi-permeable membrane for diffusion, but for osmosis, it requires a semi-permeable membrane. Right, children? So in diffusion, it equalizes the concentration of the substance, whereas in osmosis, there is no need of equalization. Here we saw the point till it spread uniformly in the given space, that is called equalization. So the next one is different substances diffuse independently of one another. So here it may be a solid or it may be a liquid or it may be gas, whichever it may be, it can diffuse independently, but only solvent undergo diffusion in osmosis. What is a solvent? As I have already mentioned, solvent is a liquid. So only liquid undergoes diffusion. Can you understand, children? The next point is diffusion is not much influenced by the presence of other substances, whereas osmosis, it is influenced by the concentration and the type of solute particle. So in diffusion, any particle can move inside and outside, that is not influenced, but here solute particle, which is a solid particle, which influence the concentration. Right, children? Can you see the difference between diffusion and osmosis? It is easier. The next slide is types of osmotic solutions. There are three types of osmotic solution which can cause the osmosis. They are hypertonic solution, isotonic solution and hypotonic solution. So before going in depth into this, I just want to discuss with you about the gaseous exchanges which happen in the plasma membrane. So diffusion takes place between carbon dioxide and oxygen, right, children? So if there is a difference in concentration of the carbon dioxide which is present in the cell, suddenly the carbon dioxide move away the cell, that is from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. The carbon dioxide moves outside, so suddenly there is a lower concentration of oxygen inside the cell. So all of a sudden the oxygen, what will do, as the concentration of the oxygen is low inside the cell and oxygen is high outside the cell, it suddenly enter into the cell. So the cell get balanced amount of oxygen inside the cell, and this process is called diffusion. Diffusion plays a major part in gaseous exchange, mainly in the carbon dioxide and oxygen platform. Can you understand the concept, children? Okay. So we move to the osmotic solution now. So what is hypotonic solution? So if we put a animal cell or a plant cell in a solution, that a solution may be a sugar solution or a salt solution. So if the solution contains higher concentration but the cell contain a low concentration, so now what will happen? The water which contain higher concentration will pass on to the cell where the cell is low concentrated cell. So what will happen? The cell will bulge. This process is happening in the hypotonic solution. The cell is put into a solution which contain higher concentration of water whereas the cell contain lower concentration. So the water molecule move from a higher concentration to a lower concentration. So the cell receives the water molecule from the medium. This is called hypotonic solution. Can you understand, children? The next one is isotonic solution. What is isotonic solution? So there is no net movement of water molecule across the membrane. So the concentration of the medium and the concentration of the cell which we put into the medium, they both are same and equal. So there is no net movement of water across the cell membrane. This is called isotonic solution. The third one is hypertonic solution. What is happening in hypertonic solution? The concentration of water in the medium is very low, but the concentration of the cell is high. So there is a transport of water molecule from a higher concentration to lower concentration. That is, here the cell has higher concentration of water and the medium contain low concentration of water. So the cell expel out the water which is present inside it to the medium. So the cell get shrink. Okay, children, this is called hypertonic solution. This is what happening in the process of osmosis. This procedure is called osmosis. The next one is types of osmosis. There are two types of osmosis, endoosmosis and exoosmosis. As I have already mentioned you, endo means from outside to inside, exo means from inside to outside. So endoosmosis is the osmotic entry of water into the cell. Exoosmosis means osmotic withdrawal of water from the cell. Okay, children, we can place the cell in higher concentration of the water comes out of the cell by the process of exoosmosis. When we place the cell in the lower concentration, the water enter into the cell by the process of endoosmosis. Can you get an idea from this, children? What is endoosmosis and exoosmosis? This is what's happening in the picture. Cells in hypertonic solution and the cells in hypertonic environment. So with this, we have wind up the plasma membrane. These are the things happening in the plasma membrane. And the next one we are going to move is the cell wall. So cell wall, which is present only in the plant cell. So both the plasma membrane is present both in plant cell and the animal cell. While cell wall is present only in the plant cell which surrounds the plasma membrane. Okay, children. So the cell wall is a rigid, semi-elastic and semi-transparent and protective covering which is present outside the plasma membrane in the plant cell, fungi and prokaryotes. So the cell is made up of cellulose in plants and chitin in fungi. Some of the extra deposits of lignin, suberin and cutin are present in the secondary thickening of the cell wall. Okay, so there is a region called middle lamella which is present between the walls of two adjacent cells, and this is called as middle lamella, which is present in the walls of the two cells, and also a membrane called as plasmodesmata. The cell possesses small pores through which adjacent cells remain connected, which is called as a plasmodesmata. These are the adjacent pore present in the cell wall, which is called as plasmodesmata. Right, children? So what is the role of a cell wall? There are few things to understand about the cell wall. It provides shape to the cell. The first thing is it provides shape to the cell. The second thing is it provides a mechanical strength to the plants. The second thing is it provides a mechanical strength to the plant. The third one is it protects against the pathogens and mechanical injury. The fourth one is growth of the cell wall determines the growth of the cell. The fifth one is cell wall prevent the bursting of the cell on endoosmosis. So what is endoosmosis? A molecule which come out from outside to inside. So when the passage is very strong, the cell wall may break. So cell wall prevent the bursting of the cell on the endoosmosis. And finally, it is able to withstand a lot of variation in nature. Okay children, so now we pass on to the difference between the cell wall and the plasma membrane and its similarities. So what is a cell wall? It is the outer covering of the plant cell. And what is plasma membrane? It occurs both in plant cell and also in the animal cell. So it lies on the outside of the cell. Cell wall lies outside the cell, whereas plasma lies outside in the animal cell and present inside in the plant cell. Cell wall is very rigid and thick, while the plasma membrane is flexible and thin. Because of this flexibility, there is a transport of molecules inside and outside. Cell wall is permeable. It will not allow any passage of molecules. It is selectively permeable so that solutes can easily, solvents can easily pass in and out of the membrane. So cell wall is formed of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. So plasma membrane is formed of lipid bilayer and integrated protein with a number of carbohydrates in the form of oligosaccharides. Cell wall provides protection and gives strength to the cell, whereas plasma membrane holds the cell content and control of the passage material. Right children? Can you understand the plasma membrane structure and the differences and all the things? Thank you children.